All right, folks. BDP episode 4700. I don't know how many episodes. But well, it's a good day. We got a couple guests. Actually, everyone here has been a guest on the podcast once before. Tove has been on the podcast. David has been on at least one time.
Twice.
2 times. Now we got a second timer, a third timer.
Third time.
And then the hosts of the show. So what we were just having an interesting talk right before this podcast started that I kind of want to get into. We were talking a little bit about string jumps. And what do you think? It's a good topic, huh?
It is. It really helps a lot to film stuff, and you get the real picture of string jump. And after watching it several times and watching it drop where a shot is coming in money right at the heart, and the animal jumps, and I've seen them being spined. Mm-hmm. I've seen that, and I've seen them just totally being gone. I mean, the arrow was perfect, but the animal's not there anymore. So my conclusion, doing this a little while, is try to expect that. And of course, there's supposed to be a big difference between an alert animal that's looking at you versus one that is not. And I think that's true, but there's other theories on that. But if it's going for the heart, my theory is aim low. If you know it's going to be a lethal shot, aim way down in the pocket, and it compensates because they'll drop and you get a little forgiveness of the drop, and you could still hit the heart. And that's sort of a summary of what's going on, what I think.
What do you think about that summary, Big D? That was kind of you two were the catalyst of that discussion. So what do you think?
I always get a kick out of those Instagram posts where they show the animal and then they break it down by like quadrant. Or
right.
Like,
where would you aim?
Yeah, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, D, like, all of that. And it's just like, I don't know. Because as like mostly a whitetail hunter, I have never shot an arrow at a mule deer before. I honestly think like it's not actually on the animal. It's like below the animal. There should be another quadrant where it's below their animal. Because I actually have footage of me shooting at a buck where it's at 35 to 38 yards or something like that. So it's not a poke, and the deer is got its nose in the ground looking for acorns, anything that's dropped out of a tree, and it's totally off guard. Didn't hear anything that I was doing, and the arrow arcs towards the deer, and around about 5 feet away, it just ducks right out of the way. So it's a tricky thing that honestly for whitetail, I think it's a good idea to aim low always. I don't really have a lot of experience with mule deer, especially at the further yardages. But I mean, if it's going to duck out of the way when the arrow's like 5 or 10 yards away at 35 yards, I mean, it really puts you in a bind about where to aim and stuff like that. So, I don't have an answer on that. And I have also heard that mule deer sometimes do not drop. I've also seen a deer that was alert actually not drop for whatever reason. I don't know. I think a lot of times it's dependent on the animal versus a deer that has no idea that you're there, and the sound of the shot really scares them and makes them drop and run away. It's a tough topic to address because it could be a deer by deer basis, and I don't have any expert opinion on it per se, but it's definitely a problem. So I've talked to people who use heavy arrows. I've talked to people who use really light arrows. For me, that deer drops so fast that I don't think it makes a whole lot of difference between the arrow weight in terms of how fast it gets there. But it's a tricky topic that I'm sure that a lot of people have lost deer to. I mean, the deer that I have on video, you can see in the video the broadhead scrape its back and a puff of fur come up. So I mean, it's
Brutal.
yeah, it's a brutal thing to experience, but it's all part of the learning process. And when you have one of those, it's tough not to get down about it, but you just gotta you gotta make a plan for your next shot. So
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that, I think there's really only three things you can address to potentially make this problem less. I could throw a fourth one in. Here's what I think could help avoid string jumps. Number one, quiet. Make your bow as quiet as possible. Right? I think that's big. Number two, make your arrow as quiet as possible. So quiet veins. Right now I'm running the Blazers, which are really good veins. They're classic. But Blazers are a little loud. So Boning made a new vein called the Alpha, and it's like lower profile, it's softer, it's supposed to fly just as well, but be much quieter because of the design of the vein. It's longer and not as high. So quieter vein, quieter bow. I hear your point. I still think speed is going to help you, just because the quicker you get to it, you got to, like, dude, when you go frame by frame and you see how fast those deer react, even if you can cut 3 feet off, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I think it's big. And then to add a last thing, it would just be not to aim for a miss, but like aim really low to where, if you do hit him and he doesn't react at all, you're hitting like just above the rib cage
Brisket,
diaphragm,
yeah.
like right above the brisket,
Yeah.
where you'll still kill him. But if he does react, you have that leeway. But I think if you were to address every single one of those things, I think that's going to be the best way to mitigate or reduce string jumps. Now, the other thing that I think is a tricky one is I've heard, I don't know if there's like a science on this or a video study, but I've heard that for like whitetails specifically out of tree stands, and I have shot only 3 whitetails, right, out of tree stands, and I hit them all in the same exact place. I was aiming in the pocket. I hit all of them, that far below the back, top of the lungs, all of them. They reacted the same amount, and I shot them all between about 20 and 30 yards. I've heard that for whitetails, some guys like to shoot them at more like 50. Because they say that the reaction is peak between like 20 and 40 yards.
yep.
Beyond that, your bow is further, so it's like quieter.
Yep.
And
Well,
for
and
whatever,
the sound takes a little bit more to
Your
get
arrow
Get
travels
to,
faster
yeah.
than that sound maybe can get. I don't know.
but I have
Did
heard,
that math a little bit. I think the sound would still get there before the arrow does, but that's still less time to react,
Yeah.
I suppose.
so I don't know if that's I prefer to shoot stuff closer. Like I like shooting stuff at 10 yards, is what I like. 20 yards. But I could see some logic to it. But if a deer were to walk by at 20, am I going to pass him and be like, let me wait till he goes to 50? Like, no, I'm not going to do that.
No.
But it is an interesting one. Like, it would be an interesting video study to go sit in a tree stand and shoot 5, to go on doe patrol, shoot 5 does at 20 or less. Or let's say, let's shoot 5 does from 30 or less, and then let's shoot 5 from 50 or more,
Yes.
and see if the reaction time is any different.
Do you have a wait list for doe patrol or?
Go to Oklahoma.
Got to hit up Seek One or go to Oklahoma, baby.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's an interesting topic. And my buddy Travis that filmed all my hunts in South Africa, he was really big on quiet veins, right? So he ran bonings that were not the alphas. They were like a longer version. So they were like probably 4 inches long, but really soft and really low profile. And when him and I would shoot my Blazers, and he would shoot his boating veins. I wish I knew the name of them. And it was a noticeable sound difference,
That's
and that's to human ears.
Yeah.
Behind that,
For a slower bow
Yeah.
shooter myself, I think that would be like something I wish I had before even leaving in a couple weeks, like those alphas, just something different to try out to make, anything more quiet, more quick, more, penetration, like anywhere I can get the more.
Well, they have
Not trying.
They have the new Alpha and the new Altus.
Oh yes, that one looks good. Too.
Oh, I think I've been calling them atlases. Is it all?
Now, aren't they
I'm not sure.
pretty much the same vein? But I think one is softer material than the other. I believe.
I believe
It seems like softer would help.
I think so.
The only one with softer I've seen, which everybody seems to say it doesn't matter, like they straighten out in flight, is that the softer ones seem to crinkle so fast.
I agree.
They-
You just
and
lean
I don't know,
them
it just-
against anything, or you go deep in the target.
Yep, or even just shooting after shooting that arrow enough
Yeah.
times. James saw it with the what were those?
So when I shot the Silent Night vans, Silent Nights are supposed to be super quiet, and they're supposed to be super light.
Fascinating. Silent.
So that-
I hope so.
Yeah, that's their like thing. But they would warp. So like you'd look at them and they would have like weaves, and I never noticed any difference in shooting quality, like group size or anything like that. And when I
If I mind, I would just think it, but yeah, they do.
when I
Got them just fine, but they just
when,
look.
when I picked Josh's brain about it, and I was like, "Hey, why are these warped?" And he said it had to do with like the speed of the bow and the like temperature changing. But he said that it doesn't make a difference because once the bow lets the arrow go, it's so fast that those little warps are going to get like straightened out by the air, So he kind of thought it was a nothing burger, but I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting topic.
It is. Man, it's important.
It's important for sure. I mean, more animals are wounded and not killed without question by string jumps more than anything else.
I would agree.
No doubt about it.
I would agree.
So yeah, I don't know. I thought it was a fun topic when you guys were talking about it. I was like, we should definitely hit it on the pod.
I think in the Midwest, it's more to do with the fact that no one's practiced.
Yeah, that does happen a lot in, I think, Midwest and East a bit more.
And you're allowed to. You can say whatever.
Less shooting happening there.
He can say whatever he wants because he's from Ohio, so he can say whatever.
You got
I'm from Florida.
You got a
Does that
ticket
count?
there.
He's gonna get killed in the comments.
I wouldn't.
So, but the whitetail hunters will be like, F you.
You know, they know the deal. They know even if they refuse to admit it, they know the deal.
I think there's a lot more attention to weapon seasons in the Midwest and the East than there is in the West. A lot more people switch over from archery, which is only a month long, to rifle season, shotgun. Turkey season rolls around, they get the shotgun back out, and then there's maybe a little bit of target happening in there over the summer, maybe. For some states, it's just too hot for them. And then they roll back into archery season.
Yeah.
And then they get the bow bag out from underneath the bed.
Well, you really want me to get killed in the comments? I'll talk out about crossbow hunters.
Jesus.
I have a bone to pick about crossbow hunters.
I've never shot one before.
So here's my hot take. I know that's a big thing, a big debate is like crossbow. Of course, crossbows aren't really a thing out west. Like it's more so people that maybe have like a medical injury that then can use a crossbow. Now I know out where you're at, a lot of times a crossbow season is during archery season. My hot take, and again, I don't really have any skin in the game here at all, but to me, it makes more sense that crossbow would be in the season with like muzzleloader or shotgun rather than archery.
Rifle season.
No, not rifle, because to me, a crossbow is more similar to like a primitive muzzleloader or a shotgun, not a rifle.
What do they have on them for sights?
Oh, they have like
sights,
red
Scopes?
dots, all scopes.
And then, correct me if I'm wrong, Arizona I think might also be one of them. I only know this because I saw a lady up in arms about it on one of the female hunting pages I follow. That their state just banned the use of bipods for them with their crossbows. And to me, if you got a bipod and a red dot on your archery weapon, out.
Couldn't you say the same thing about a Garmin sight, though, on a compound bow? I mean, a Garmin...
Yeah, but a lot of states have outlawed that.
No.
Not a lot. I mean, there's some, but, like, I mean...
The use of electronics or lighting. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, good point. I don't know how much...
Archery is considered primitive. Like, you cannot use a light in the majority of states. You cannot use an electronic sight. Like,
Well,
it's
they-
you and that dot from 40 yards away. If you got something that magnifies it, I guess that's hard to argue because a lot of people do also, a lot of take them out for hunting season, but you can technically run a clarifier and a lens. So, like, there's a bit of magnification, but, like, I don't know, there's just something about having, like, a red dot, a bipod, a tripod, holding your weapon, like, all of this stuff that, like, to me, we are taking away from the primitive nature of the archery season. By
You
doing that, but-
make an excellent point. And just to give you an idea, I thought that Ohio hunting regulations were pretty strict until I came out here. Ohio hunting regulations are actually the easiest you'll ever find. So archery season is from about September 29th, 28th, something like that, to February 2nd. Every day in between that gap, it doesn't matter if you're in gun season, it doesn't matter if you're in muzzleloader season, you are allowed to take a deer. You are allowed to take a deer in between that gap, no matter the season, and that includes compound bows and crossbows. Here's the problem with that. A lot of people get a crossbow, and basically they treat it like a gun. Okay.
Yeah.
So if you've got a 45-70 and you're in a basically a brush gun, you might be able to get away with shooting a deer in brush. You cannot get away with shooting a deer like that with a crossbow in brush, because no matter what the system is, you're still dealing with an arrow.
Yeah.
And we've all seen slow-mo footage of a twig deflecting that arrow into oblivion. So my deal with crossbow hunters is they think that, oh, it's the same system as basically an AR-15. You've still got the same safety functions as an AR-15. So they treat that like an AR-15 or a gun. And so they think, oh, I can shoot this, 75 yards through brush and be okay with it. No.
Oh.
That's not.
Sketch.
That's not what's going on.
David came to just upset the audio.
I love it. I will take.
Hannah loves this. Me, I'm on her heel just on pins in me. And I'm going, yeah, I love it. I love it.
I will take.
Let him cook.
From crossbow hunting.
Okay, he's starting a war. You
and-
can go comment and blow up his page 614 Archery on YouTube.
There we go.
Go blow him up.
There we go. Arizona did just restrict the crossbow regulations to people who actually have
Medical.
like a medical reason to use a crossbow, like they've had reconstructive surgery on their shoulders. Maybe it's an 89-year-old going out to hunt, and we're totally fine with that. But
Totally.
they relaxed the regulations for crossbows in Arizona. I don't know how long ago. And basically what ended up happening was when elk season, deer season would open up in a lot of these popular units, they would end up closing that week. When in reality, you've got 2.5 weeks to hunt. It would be closed in 5 days.
So because true archers wouldn't have a chance to get any kind of season.
Correct. Correct. And it was getting out of control where you could just go and get a crossbow, and people my age were getting crossbows, and I don't want to say lying about something, but the crossbow hunters were closing the season in 5, sometimes 3 days. And it's just it was crazy. So they just pushed that to I don't know what the regulations are now, full disclosure, but they have since upped the regulations to what it would take to get a crossbow tag. So
I'm gonna say it. Y'all can hate me and whatnot.
Oh, boy. Buckle up.
This is not archery.
Oh, jeez. Oh,
I am looking at some pictures right now. This dude in his chair with a bipod, with a scope, with a shoulder comfort press.
Correct.
And to top it off,
That looks like the Midwest too.
they shoot from the minimums start from 300 to 500
feet per
feet
second.
per second.
Oh, yeah.
Averages being between 370 and 420.
That's why they don't
You
call
tell
it-
me whose archery bow compound gets 420 feet a second
But it's a
and
lighter,
can put a scope on
it's
it.
a shorter, lighter arrow.
It's a bolt.
It's a bolt, yeah. I know.
That's why they call it so.
I mean, to be fair, Brianna with her draw length basically,
It's basically a few inches from a
You know
bow.
what I mean?
And I only get 250 feet a second.
Yep.
I don't know.
This is,
Everything about what that picture looks like rifle hunting to me.
Now,
No.
What an unbelievable topic. I'm just stewing on this topic. I love it.
You're gonna have to can this whole video.
No, you can even not let them go.
let me extend an olive branch to the crossbow hunters in the Midwest. Okay.
I want to talk after this. Yep.
So
Well, he's been stewing over here. He's stewing.
now, in Ohio, it is not unusual for deer hunters to harvest 500,000 deer a year. That is like that, and honestly, in Ohio,
Wow.
they would call that a good year, where they need to harvest that much to keep the population
keep it
down,
down.
to keep it healthy. Okay.
Yeah, keep cars
There,
intact.
there have been years where all throughout season, whether it's archery or gun or muzzleloader, it's more like 350,000, and you can see that they were ODNR was kind of hoping for a little bit more. So that's where the crossbows come into play, and where there won't be any regulations in Ohio when it comes to crossbows, and everybody's kind of okay with it. I just have a personal problem with a lot of people going out and think that they're shooting an AR-15 at a deer when it should be basically... You take the weapon system away, you're still shooting an arrow at something, and it's not a 45-70 with a 500 grain projectile crashing through brush and with enough kinetic energy to do what it needs to do.
To get there to the right spot. Yep. I like that you're throwing in the handicap stuff and the older stuff, because I'm getting older. I don't know if you noticed that. None of you.
No, not at all.
No,
I had not noticed.
No.
Not a single bit.
60.
I mean, you had your shirt off earlier today, and I was like, that's peak dad energy. You look pretty good, dude. Pretty jacked.
As he me and Charles. Well, that was insane. I love it. What?
I can see I can see how Connie fell for you, man.
Yeah.
She was
The
trying
same
to
as
help.
those wedding
She was
photos.
trying to help the stupid.
Just a big old hunk of meat, just sitting there in his comfy chair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you throwing in the caveat for handicapped hunters, because I'm trying my best to keep shooting a bow. I'm trying. But I love archery so much that I realize, reality, age is reality. And someday I'm going to have to switch to a crossbow. And I probably won't go to a rifle. Nothing bad about that. But I'll probably switch to a crossbow. When you got bone-on-bone arthritis and stuff like this, reality sucks. And I like that. And we all know Danny's a friend of the show. And he's in a wheelchair. And he can't shoot a bow anymore. He gave it his best shot.
Yeah. I saw him at a shoot, and he had that chair with
The big one.
with the tracks on it, and I was like, hell yeah, man.
Oh wait.
And he just doesn't have the muscle to hold up anything. So he uses everything. He uses a tripod. He uses, advanced sights, and we're all happy.
Yeah, I definitely think that there's a point to where, certain people should be allowed to use certain things, or there should be certain seasons for it or whatnot if it's comparably different. And that's all fine and dandy. It's when you start to mix them into certain seasons, and like if the numbers just don't equate, that like, you're penetrating the animals with the same amount of kinetic energy as a bow, and you can shoot about the same distances as a bow, and you're using the same primitive stuff on it as you would a bow. That's what I'm like, okay, maybe it should just be its own season, or maybe it should be mixed in with, I definitely would not mix it with muzzleloader. I mean, that's about as, the the next primitive step up from
Well,
archery.
Here's why I comped them, right? Let's say you're doing an iron sights muzzleloader, not the new ones that can shoot 500, 600 yards. These guys are telling me as far as you want with the new ones.
Yeah.
But a lot of states are making it to where if you're going to hunt muzzleloader, they either have 2 muzzleloader seasons, one for like the iron sights and the ones they have different rules on how you load out.
Oh, I've never heard.
Or the long range ones. But here's my point. Let's say that let's just take Ohio, for example. Let's say that they only allow you to use the more primitive muzzleloader. Let's just say for my point here.
Right. Okay.
So you can only use the more primitive muzzleloader, a shotgun, or a crossbow in one season, right? My thing is, each one of those weapons, I think your effective range is relatively comparable with each one. That's what I'm saying. So like a crossbow, I think 100 yards is probably pretty much your that's it. That's the max about, That's a poke. Same with the shotgun for sure.
Yeah.
Maybe even less.
Shorter.
Probably 80,
Shorter.
70, 60. I don't know a lot about it. And then with a muzzle loader, you're probably a primitive one. You're probably talking 100 is like a poke.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, that's why I
can
love
understand that.
crossbow in with them, not with rifle, because with rifle, you can shoot hundreds of yards, no problem. And then with a bow, you're looking
Those
50,
rifle people might get you for that.
you're looking 50 or less. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I try to look at it based on distance in pairing seasons with stuff where your distance is somewhat comparable. The technology to me, I don't think really makes a difference. I mean, sure, you could have a red dot, but you still got to squeeze through the trigger, make a good shot. And if it's
and it's humane.
then it's humane. For me, it's more of a distance thing. So that's why, to your point,
Yeah.
I would put it with
I could see
the
that.
other season.
So
I just probably wouldn't put it with archery season.
No, I wouldn't either. That's what I'm saying.
You're correct.
Unless it's someone with an injury or age or something.
Yeah.
You're correct in that the technology these days really doesn't make a whole lot of difference, but I will tell you that it makes a difference in the shooter's overconfidence. So if you've got like back in the day when you had those like Tasco scopes that were like 4.5 to 10 or something like that, you had a range of a 500-yard shot was a poke, and you didn't want to do that.
I'd say 3 even
Now,
suppose.
now I've got a 4.5, a 3.5 to 27 on one of my rifles that you can. I shot 1,000 yards, and it like I missed a couple of times, but at 1,000 yards, I was actually shocked at how well I could hit that. So that's overconfidence because of your equipment and what you think you can do.
Or you watch other people do with that same. Yep.
Well, and then you think, oh, well, I've got a little bit of wind here. That makes no difference. Yeah, it does. Just because you can see that target and see you can see all the spots on those deer or elk or something like that. You can see how many tines it's got. Doesn't mean that your projectile is going to land where you want it to. It takes a lot of skill, and I think a lot of hunters are overconfident because of their optics on their weapons. So, and I mean, it's kind of the same thing with bows. I know a guy who put a 10 power lens on his scope, and he joked with me that he could see the nuts on a tick at 30 yards, and he's a Kansas boy. He's hilarious. I love him to death. But I mean,
a female tick.
yeah, exactly. But all of that technology on your bows and on your weapon system it only leads to overconfidence, because even with the amount, especially with like rifle projectiles, they've come a long way, but they haven't come that long a way to where the wind and your elevation and stuff like that doesn't make a difference anymore. And there's a lot of, I think there's a lot.
It doesn't stop your shaking. It doesn't stop your nerves.
Exactly. It doesn't stop you punching the trigger and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And that can lead to injured animals as well that will make it to 3 or 4 years before they're killed by another person. And then you find out, you start to, quarter the animal, and you find a shotgun slug in its leg.
Actually, so the goat that I shot in Hawaii had been shot, probably within the last 3 months, maybe. He was healed up. He was fine until I shot him again. But he was Yeah.
He was fine until I shot him again.
Yeah, he had,
Then he wasn't fun.
yeah. So actually, I don't know if we ever talked about this, but this is another, I think, pretty cool discussion too. So that goat comes in, right? There's about 15 in this group. And as they're coming, I could see the one in the back is a big one, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to wait for that one in the back and I'm going to shoot them. They were all filtering through about 20 yards, but it's like straight downhill. So he was a black sheep, and they're different colors. So I'm like, okay, when I see a black one,
He's got to be.
that's just what color he was. I'm,
Should you pick that one?
well, he had the biggest horn. Jeez, oh,
Biggest black goat?
He had the biggest horns.
let me explain Let me explain what happened. This podcast off the rails. So these goats start filtering through, and I'm like, I know he's the last one, and I see him come through. One comes through, two comes through, three comes through. They're standing there like, and finally I see this large, darker complexion sheep walk through. So I draw on this goat, and then I realize, I go, that's the wrong one. That's a female, right?
He thought all the black
And
goats looked the same.
Jeez, OP. Kind of that. And only 4 or so goats had come by. So I go, wow, now I'm in a pickle. I'm in a draw at 20 yards, and I have a feeling I'm going to be waiting here a while.
Well, you're looking
So
for a goat.
I start holding. So I'm like, oh, I can't let down. I'm too close to him. So I'm holding the draw. And I'm holding. And then I hold the draw so long that I have this daydream. I start daydreaming. And then I like snap back to, and I go, oh, he's right there. He's past my window, right? So I have the anchor lean forward. These goats are small. I mean, he's probably 40 pounds, right?
Sorry.
No, maybe not even. He's pretty small. So, dude, I shoot this goat, and I see the arrow hit, like, right where you'd want it to hit. But I see that my arrow's sticking out, like, the whole way. I got, like, no penetration. And it sounded like I cracked a rock, right? So I'm like, not what you love to see, but then he started running, and I saw him, like, go head over heels off this cliff, right? So I'm like, well, I know I got him, but, like, why did my arrow go so shallow on such a small animal at such a short distance? So I go get the goat, I start processing them, quartering them out, and I actually boned them out. Turns out my arrow had entered right behind the shoulder, but it exited in the actual ball socket. So I squared up the ball joint. Probably the hardest part on the body that you can hit. Now, here's what's crazy. The broadhead was fully deployed, but one of the
Beast broadheads.
one of the blades broke in half, right? So it was a half.
Happened.
So it was a half a blade, and the other one was a full blade. The entrance wound was about like that big. It was about like the size of a spear. Big entrance. Now, here's the trippy part.
2 inches.
Yeah, 2 inches. So I go show this to Josh Bomar. I send him the video. I said, check this out. I hit the ball joint. You could see it. The broadhead's in the ball joint. I pull it out. I show him a blade's broken. And he goes, dude, honestly, he said, that's actually really cool that broadhead is fully deployed with half a blade broken, because the beast is spring loaded. So like a rage or a sever, they work off rotation. So if that blade breaks, the other one folds back into the ferrule because it doesn't have something pulling against it to keep it open.
Really?
But he's like, dude, look at the amount of damage that thing still did. Sure, it broke, but you still have a half inch of blade on one side, a full blade on the other side, and they're both fully deployed.
They're
still.
both fully deployed.
And he goes, and he literally
Good point.
he literally pulled out a broadhead, sent me a video, and he said, look, he cut the one off and pushed it into something. Sure enough, rotated right into the ferrule. But with the beast, it was still fully deployed. And I was like, dude, I hadn't even thought about that. But I was like, that's
some real good education.
great education.
So I've seen broadheads.
I was just impressed by that, is what I was trying to get to. And like, broadheads are going to break. Like, I've shot rage for a decade. I've broken blades off those. I've broken now a beast blade. But I was impressed when I heard the explanation. And one thing I want to say about David Hauser, who kind of is a head engineer for Beast and a phenomenal archer, they put so much thought into the product when you hang out with them. It's insane. Like, they had thought about this variable that's so rare to happen, but still wanted to make it cool. So I just thought that was a cool thing.
That was a good discussion.
You know?
My minimal experience with Beast is I can't believe how well they hold up, because they don't break very often. Because I have shot the other brand, and I like them.
Like Rage or Greg, yeah. Nothing wrong with Rage.
I like them a lot. But
And they're
I am amazed that you can if you're turkey hunting or something like that, it's no problem. Use a Rage 2 or 3 times, and guys who are on a budget, these things aren't cheap. It's impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
they're only getting more expensive. But, so Rages deploy like this, correct?
They deploy kind of back a little bit. Yeah, back a little bit. Yeah.
So the Beast deploys like that, but it's spring loaded.
Spring loaded, yeah.
So I've seen a lot of broadheads that deploy like this.
Yeah.
That do the job.
Like the Grim Reapers.
Yeah,
Grim Reapers
yeah.
and
Or
yeah.
a lot of B3, all their B3 ones deploy like that. But they deploy like this, and so they go into the animal like that. But when they come out, it's slowed down so much that it causes them to close when they exit the animal. So you go to retrieve your broadhead, and they're closed because, and so you go, holy crap, they didn't deploy at all.
Well, they did. You just
But
pulled.
they
Did, but it going a full pass through will slow it down enough to where the inertia makes them close again. So you don't actually know if they deployed in the animal.
Here's a cool part I like about Grim Reaper is, number one, I have a buddy that uses them a lot, and I've seen him shoot very, very big animals with.
very successful.
And they work super well. I like the 4-blade idea a lot. A lot of them are 4-blade, and you got to give it to Grim Reaper. They're very reasonably priced compared to a lot of others. I believe they're 4-packs, and they're a little bit cheaper. But one thing I think's cool about Beast as well, not to make it a Beast ad, but like they confront, they just say they're expensive, but like there's so much technology baked in, like they should be expensive. So anyway, quick ad: teambd is the code if you want to save money on Beast, and also Kawasaki. We'll throw Kawasaki in the ad segment.
I got
No
something.
code for that one.
No code for the Kawasaki, unfortunately.
The one thing that I will say about Beast that I like, Grim Reapers, they'll come with one practice head, which pisses me off because you get 3 broadheads in there and 1 practice head.
Yeah.
And Beast, although they are like a little bit more expensive, you can buy a 3-pack of practice heads. Where I don't think you can do that,
Now they,
or at least I've not seen.
That's a big deal.
one
It's a
practice-
big
deal.
It was 1 practice tip and only 2 broadheads in the pack, and I was like, "Oh my god!" I mean, to fill a quiver, you got to buy 2 packs of these things.
Yeah.
But they have since changed that to where you buy the practice set and you buy a full pack of 3 now. And I was like, that to me was much better.
And I almost prefer just buying the 3 broadheads and then just getting a 3-pack of practice heads. Yeah. So you can literally, you don't have to sit there and like shoot 1 arrow, pull it, and then that one flew flying, and then put another practice head on another arrow, shoot it, and it's just so much easier to get a pack of 3 practice broadheads.
Plus, the more shooting you do with that broadhead configuration, the better, and then right when you get near the hunt, you can refine it and say, okay, I'm going to actually shoot a real head or something like that. So trust it in your mind.
If you hunt enough, and you're rebuying packs and packs of broadheads and whatnot, like
Then you stack up your.
then what am I stacking up all these practice tips for? Like you just buy your 3-pack, you put them on your 3 arrows to practice around and whatnot, make sure your grouping is correct, or tune your bow a little bit if need be, and then you're done. Whereas if you just buy 1 set of broadheads, or even 2, you only got 2 practice tips. And so that's a slight bummer. If you want to shoot more than that in a group, you got to go pull every 2 arrows only. Like I say, it takes 3 to make a group, And then the opposite end is once you start stacking up purchases, it's like, what do I need 15 practice tips for.
Yeah.
So you just buy the 3-pack, be done with it, save them,
Yeah.
and now every time you're buying a pack, you're getting a full
three.
set of 3 actual.
I agree. That is nice. David, did you draw any tags this year, my friend?
I have a deer rifle tag in Arizona.
Okay.
I won't tell you where because
Don't do that.
Don't
do that.
So I've got this is a hunting, an archery hunting podcast, but I do have my 7mm Remington Magnum all tuned up and ready to go. But I have a spot where I'm looking to archery hunt as well.
Cool.
So in Arizona, the hunting season bleeds into January. So if I don't get if I don't get a deer in August or something like that with my bow, I can always go to the rifle tag. Obviously, if you get a deer in August with your bow, can't use the rifle tag.
Right.
But if I don't get a deer in August with a bow, if I don't get a deer with my rifle in November, then I can roll on into December and January. In December, if I get a deer in December with my bow, I can then get an over-the-counter tag for January.
Yeah.
So, but that means I can't put in for the rest of 2026 for a deer tag.
You can get a bonus point.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's very weird.
Or I can just put all my points for elk and sheep, even though I'll never get a sheep.
I would have, but we can't
James
possibly do it. I
Preston, we
get too
put in
emotional.
for it, and I'm like,
Can I get to go back?
yes.
I want to go back. When we were talking about all this rifles, smoke pole, crossbow.
Is that muzzleloader to you? I've never heard that before. That's awesome.
Yeah. So there's. Have you ever heard sliver slinger?
No.
Sliver slinger?
That's
I'm gonna be
that sounds
sliver slinging.
that sounds very sexual.
So does smoke pole.
Sliver
It does.
Sounds like something you say when you live in the swamp. I'm going sliver slinging tonight.
This podcast is off.
Off the rails. This thing's crazy.
I'm going sliver.
You haven't heard of sliver slingers? That's what the rifle guys call us, archers.
So what were you getting to?
What I'm getting to is two things, and I'll probably forget one of them. One is back to the thought process of the man in the arena. If you study Teddy Roosevelt and the discussions about the man in the arena, and I would say what I'm referring to is when we talk about all these different functions and we get pissed off at the guys who govern this stuff. They're in charge of it, the game commissions of each state. Give them some credit. They're taking all our input and they got to make a decision, so it's tough. Give them credit.
Oh, totally.
And say, don't call them stupid and everything, because they really aren't. They're there because they're hunters and they want things to go right. So they got some tough decisions. The mechanical problem, where they've all been through. So that's sort of my point on that one.
Well, and you've got to keep up with innovation as well.
Innovation and what we're doing.
Absolutely.
And another thing too, you got to remember that guys really, really, really want to hunt. And they go, well, they got a rifle, they got a bow, the one under the bed you're talking about. And they pick a tag because I got really good odds if I go for a bow in that zone, so everybody wants to hunt. Everybody has a desire to hunt. And they some of these decision processes, like a bow hunter's going, that guy shouldn't be bow hunting. He shoots 2 weeks before the season, and he shouldn't be out there bow hunting. So yeah, I'm breaking some rules right here, but you know what I mean. That is a driving force for people putting in for a certain tag. Is they go, I got a bow, I got a muzzleloader, I got a crossbow, I got a big rifle, and they're all hunters and they all love to hunt and they want to be successful. So
Yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is always to just, as long as people are hunting legally,
legally.
and to the best of their ability, then I'm supportive. You know what I mean? Because I think as hunters, especially as time goes on, and it's a broken record, but like with more legislation constantly getting pushed to ban hunting or strip back hunting rights or sell public land or whatever it might be, it's more important than ever to just support all hunters as long as they're doing it legally. And then beyond that, bro, I'm never going to hate on somebody for shooting a crossbow or a muzzleloader or a rifle or bow. I choose to hunt with a bow, but that doesn't make someone who hunts with 30-06, with grandpappy, like, that's great too. You know what I mean? Like, there's different types of hunters, but we're all in this together. So it's so important to stick together. And for me, that's always the big show.
I agree. And the lethality of everything we're talking about is lethality. And we're getting better and better at that. So we got to work through this maze, and our decision makers have to make those decisions.
Well, and not only that, but like, if even if we made it all archery hunting in Arizona, they would not reach their quotas for what they are looking to harvest.
There's huge balance.
Because I know a unit in Arizona where they had, I think, 10 tags available. It's a big ass unit. And there were only 2 deer harvested with a bow, and I know both of those people. So, I mean, the rest, and that's 2 out of 10 tags that they were looking, that they gave out.
You mean the quota?
A quota, yes.
Did they get the percentage they wanted? Because that's like 2 out of 10. Did they get that?
Well, the quota is different than a tag allotment.
Right.
A quota is like meant to be filled, I think, by the end of season is the target. But that's only in Arizona, for example, the quota only is for archery. So like all the other stuff.
Correct.
You're right. Someone has to be in there doing the math and go, okay, our success rates are in this unit or with a rifle are generally, let's just say 50%.
Right.
We want 100 deer killed, so we need to give out 200 tags.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into it, a lot of adjustments. And as, we'll close it with this. It's a good quote by a good philosopher named Isaac Newton. If it fits, it ships. Okay.
Oh,
that's
Isaac?
Yeah. Yeah, it might be Nostradamus. I'm not sure, but
one of those.
CEO of Amazon, whatever.
Oh, Bezos, yeah. Sir, it's been a pleasure. Great job. Brianna, been a pleasure. David, your star of the show today. Good work on that. And again, any hate comments, go over to 614archery.com, YouTube. And subscribe and go by Kawasaki Ridge. And we'll see you in the next podcast. Thank you for watching.
And I remember when you were out to dinner in Yuma, and you were talking about how you got a notification of a reel where you were like, what's going on with this? And then you, like, all of a sudden you were looking at the analytics and it was flat, 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 and then Eiffel Tower. And instead of being like, oh my gosh, this got however many millions of views after 2 years, you were like, why the fuck did that happen? And you started to do like an autopsy on what was going on with this video.
Yeah.
And literally like, I want to know why this all of a sudden got super, super big.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, but other people would just be focused on the view count. You were like focused on why did all of a sudden this get crazy popular, like basically overnight, from a 2-year-old reel.
Right.
And I was like, I don't like my mind does not think that way.
Yeah.
I'm focused on like the video quality and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're like, I want to know why this happened the way it did.
Yeah, it is interesting too. I always say that social media, it's a moving target, right? Yeah. So I'm always having to adapt to, new platforms. For example, like when I started, it was really just YouTube. And then a couple years later, maybe 3 years later, added Instagram. And then a couple years later, added Facebook and TikTok. And now we've added Snapchat, and we've added a podcast, which is on Spotify and Apple. So basically, you always have to be it's like whack-a-mole, hitting stuff, learning how to do it. And then for me, I mean, obviously, I always say, like, social media, making the videos isn't like inherently what I do for money, but without the social media and all the platforms, none of the other stuff that I do earns money. So that's how I always try to explain it. So yes, the videos do make some money for sure, but the website makes a lot more. The sponsorships make a lot more. And without the viewership and the social media, I don't have any sponsorships and no traffic on the website.
Right.
So that's why it's like important to stay with this stuff. But yeah, to your point, I mean, I am very into the analytics and kind of like trying to know my best of what to do. And like this idea, what made me want to do it, and I've wanted to do it for a long time, of course, is Bryson DeChambeau, a golfer, did a similar series where every day he would shoot a golf shot over his house and try to make a hole-in-one. And each day he'd get another shot. And I loved it. You know, every day on Instagram, it would be like, you wanted to see if he made it, you know. And he made it on day 14, so we'll see when we make it. But yeah, so a lot of times for me, it's like an idea I'll see that I'm like, I'm intrigued by this, but it's never from archery or hunting. I always get ideas from like something else and then bring it in. And then a lot of times once I do it, I've noticed I'll see other people in archery and hunting like kind of do the same ideas, which to me is cool. I'm not offended by that. I think you should. But I do find a little joy in being like, hey, I did that idea first. You know what I mean? I do like that. And I think to young creators, this is such a random bit at the end, but I like it.
Yeah.
To young creators, I think that, and I do have kids come up at TAC and be like, how do you do it? Like, what has been worked, you know? And for me, it's like, I think the more you can be inspired by stuff that is not in the space and bring it to the space, I think is far better, in my opinion, than seeing what other people are doing in the space that's working and go, I'm going to copy that. Because your audience is the same. You know what I mean? Like,
It is.
my audience is the same as every other archery and hunter audience. So if I copy an idea from, or I'm inspired by an idea that Hush does, well, whoever watches my videos is going to be like, oh, I've seen that idea on Hush. You must have got it from Hush. But if I pull it from Bryson DeChambeau's channel, they probably don't watch his channel. You know what I mean? So it's like a fresh idea. And I know that's kind of a random tangent, but we're closing out here.
Yeah.
It's not random. We all try to be original.
Yeah.
But in reality, there's no such thing as an original thought. Nobody has one.
Yeah, my idea, you know, for this series is not original, but it is original in the space.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But David, you got some gifts here.
I do. And these are for your engagement.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations to both of you. I'm very happy for you.
Thank you.
And these are
It's about time.
yeah.
I haven't heard that one.
My dad said the same thing with my sister. when my brother-in-law proposed. So I mean, that's a common thought. But because you guys have been so kind to me in a world of assholes, you guys have been so kind to me.
I don't know.
I have two gifts from you. One of you're going to find very, very functional, and I think you're going to like. One of them, it's 50-50 whether you're going to absolutely hate it or not.
Okay.
I will start with the gift that you guys are going to find functional. Here is the package, and here is a California legal knife that you can open.
Are you ready?
Yes. Oh,
Wait, hold on. I'm about to stab.
Why were you holding it over here?
Well, I was gonna let you kind of.
Oh,
I just used it. I used it the wrong.
Brianna,
way.
do not cut yourself.
Did you?
This is.
I think I did.
It's a danger.
This looks bad.
There you go.
That was some of the worst.
Sit here,
Other than Ernest's knife work the other day, that was bad.
And maybe go ahead and pull that out of there.
And this is because it strictly irritates.
Oh, bro, I've been wanting a lens
Good thing we still have not ordered one.
It irritates the living fuck out of me as a video nerd that you guys don't have an
As
ND
does
filter.
it for every other
Yeah.
photographer.
Thank you,
video
bro.
listener.
You are welcome.
Wanted
buddy.
one. I know. I still have
Yeah.
the blade, dude. Thank you.
So-
I can't tell you how many times that I have gone to Brianna and go, "Hey, can you just order me one of these ND filters?" And then it doesn't happen. So I appreciate that, bro.
So that's from the same company that I order my ND filters, and I believe it fits on your lens.
Cool. All right.
If it doesn't, I don't know what to do
Is that
about
what
it.
you asked me what lens we had?
Yes, I did. That's
I
why I asked.
I didn't answer it, did I?
I've been
Did I
playing.
answer?
You did not.
Yeah, I didn't.
Planning this for a long time. Now, to be fair, you did answer me on the what kind of lens do you have and stuff like that. But I hope to Christ it fits.
We did go with the Tamron.
But yes,
yeah.
and that's the same. A great lens. That's what I use. And then
I was highly enjoying it.
yeah. So basically, what that will allow
Why
you
don't you
to
set
do.
the knife up real quick?
Well, I
you know?
couldn't figure out how I could figure it out. So.
Press the button
that
and close.
away?
Yeah, and you can like close it up.
Maybe just give it to David to close.
Well, you're gonna need it in a second.
Okay, so keep you good.
but yeah.
Okay, so what do we got next?
Okay.
I got a grill piping hot.
Grill piping hot. This I attempted to ship this, and then every place that I was told that I went to, yeah, California legal, by the way, California legal. It is completely legal in the state that that I'm in.
We live in the Communist Republic of
Oh, jeez, oh, Pete.
There's nothing illegal about it. That's why I bought it and why I brought it here. It has to do with certain amount of inches, you know.
Is it like
inches? Yeah,
that
exactly.
have more inches?
Exactly. If it has more inches, it has more penetration.
I've
So-
always heard that a shorter thrust sometimes can be better for knives.
it can, yeah. I prefer
Size makes a
smaller
difference,
knives.
does it?
Yeah.
They're very more useful. They can fit into more spaces.
Well, especially if
and-
you know how to use them well.
Exactly.
That you can get around little
But sometimes
joints and
if there's
stuff.
like a lot of stuff,
Yeah,
in
there's
it,
some
that
little
you can't
joints.
get through much with.
Yeah,
the
but
smaller
I mean
you know?
that's when you just bring a bigger knife. But I've found that with this
You
knife,
just bring it and mix it into the party with your other knife.
exactly. But with the smaller knives, I prefer the smaller knives
Guys, is
because
your smaller knife offended?
I want to
feel-
go
out of this podcast. I want to leave.
I feel that the smaller knives work way better for what I'm using. If I'm not using that, I'm using my machete. So
Okay, I hate to be a bastard, but we gotta wrap this.
Okay,
yeah, okay.
I got a grill pipe.
And then you'll need this. I found out that this is illegal to ship anywhere, which is complete bullshit, but that's fine.
Would you like me to do the knifing? I think, yeah, maybe have me do.
And this is the product that 50-50 you're either gonna love or you're gonna hate. So,
Illegal to anywhere.
When I used to drink liquor, I would preferably go to this brand.
So it's liquor, Jinx.
It's liquor, which is illegal to ship
can't.
in the United
Yeah, I
States
can't.
for some reason.
Really?
Really?
Yeah,
I did not.
Any
know.
listeners illegal to ship in the United States?
in some states.
You probably have to be licensed to ship liquor.
Exactly.
Oh,
So you probably have to have.
Which is one of the reasons why I'm here today, because I wanted to gift this to you guys.
Yeah, that's cool.
That's very kind of you. Making the journey to come hang out like a fun, nice bunch.
Not how I would open Christmas presents.
All right, here we go. What do we got here? We got a Lagavulin single malt Scotch whiskey.
Yes.
Ooh, we love whiskey. Yes, we do.
Now,
I should mix this with my Pepsi?
Take this look.
No, it'll taste.
that's blasphemous to me.
Blasphemous.
That's blasphemous to me because I drink Scotch straight with no ice because the taste. So what you're going to taste when this hits your lips and your tongue, it's going to taste like you're licking a campfire. Is basically what it's going to taste like.
Well, I want to be there. Yeah.
Exactly. I love this taste, but it's 50-50 whether you guys are going to like it or whether you guys
Let me
are gonna
take a
hate it.
slug.
Yeah, let me
But
get the thing off.
This is premium Scotch whiskey. So I just wanted
Well,
to tell you
David,
guys
thank you,
that
sir. That is so kind of you. You are a dear friend of mine, and I appreciate it. That's so kind, and you're a legend. So
you guys have been very kind to me. So I appreciate you guys.
And that's a 10.
might not be my favorite, but I still appreciate the sentiment. I may re-gift it to. I may re-gift.
I smell it.
They're coughing at it, and I'm like basking in the smell.
Oh,
Tove, take a swig. What do you think?
it's like I opened a can.
Well, you gotta have a caveat here. I have never liked Scotch. So
Okay.
So
Let's see what we got.
I can smell it.
it's got really good flavor.
Yeah.
He took that like a champ.
The smell To me,
It's
'cause I've been
delicious.
in the medical field, it's a little medicinal. The
A
smell.
little bit like clean massage. A little bit like the alcohol you wipe on a patient before you go into surgery.
Try a little bit.
Yeah.
Try a little bit.
I feel like I'm
Go
trying
ahead.
to.
We're gonna close out with this right here.
Oh, this is it.
See,
This is it.
Brandon McDonald would love this.
Oh, I'm sure.
I know he would.
With his cigars.
If you pair this with meat, it's
I
so,
could
it's
imagine
so
with
good.
meat it being. It's not. It's
He-
not horrible.
it's very
the
tasty.
smell is just very strong.
tasty.
Thank you, sir.
Very good.
I really appreciate it. I love, for sure, one of the gifts.
I'm sorry you hate the.
I don't hate it. I need to try again.
When it comes to a
Thank you.
pinch in the house, that doesn't mean it won't get used.
Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure. David's a legend. 614 Archery. Tove here is going to be featured on a bitchin' hunt here pretty soon.
Oh yeah.
And Brianna, she's just a legend and a nice lady as usual. And yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.
Now go cook some meat.
I'm going to go
Go cook some